Awesome. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. So if you're just joining the call, go ahead and type in where you are viewing from, and you'll be entered to win a roller of the Oola Grow. And we're going to go ahead and get started, and just want to share with you guys today our story of our Young Living business, and then also just give you a little bit of an introduction to some of the awesome benefits of the business. We're going to be trying to watch the comments as they come, so if you have questions, make sure to post them in the comments. We see them popping up. If we missed it for some reason, post it again, and we will hopefully see it the second time and get to it. So we love... I know Chris and I both love sharing on the Young Living business opportunity because it's something that is really near and dear to our hearts. It has blessed our lives like beyond what I could dream or imagine, and so it's super fun for us to share our story, how we got started with the oils, how we ended up diving into the business, and how we are now today living off of our Young Living income full time, which is like, if you had told me that however many years ago, I don't think I would have believed you. I legitimately thought it was too good to be true when I started hearing about the business opportunity. And then about 4 years ago, it was on our hearts that like we both just wanted to live in America. And so we decided to dive in. So our story kind of starts, for me, it starts 8 years ago before we even were dating. I started using the oils, and my brother started using the oils, and we were just seeing all of these amazing health benefits. And we're really just super impressed with how amazing it was that these little bottles of oil could have such an impact on our health and wellness. And it really, I call the oils my gateway drug to natural health, because before that I was just like, you're a normal Texas girl, like eat normal Texas food, and then the oils came into my life, and I really realized the power of essential oils in our body and on our body, and so I started hearing our upline Teresa, our diamond upline Teresa Jingles at that time was an executive with Young Living, and I just really wanted to learn more about how to use these oils. Like, what do I do with them? Like, they're amazing. What do I do with them? Like, I need to know more because I was just so new to all of it. And so she offered to come and teach educational classes for me. So anytime that I could get her up from Houston to Dallas at the time to teach classes for me, she would come and teach. And then at the end of her classes, she would always share the business opportunity. She said, Young Living is, I remember clearly, she would say, Young Living is an amazing business opportunity, and they have a lot of money to offer on the table. And statistically, they know that most people aren't going to stick this business out. And that's why they can offer so much money. So I've decided I'm going to stick it out, and I'm going to take advantage of the money because they're betting against me, and I'm gonna show them that I can do this. And she was just like the sweetest homeschool mom from South Texas. At the time, I think she was in her early or mid 50s, and they were executive, and the average executive makes like $500 a month, and I thought that was so cool. I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman is making $500 a month, like talking about these oils. That is so cool. Like, to contribute, to have $500 more a month in money coming in would really, I think for anybody, it can be really a huge blessing to the family. And for me at the time, I was like, $500 more a month? That sounds awesome. Like, I would love that. So I kind of dabbled in the business at that time. I was like interested, but a little bit was just kind of like, no way. Like, how do you do this? Like, how do you make this business really work? And so I was like dabbling in it. I was like kind of had it as a hobby, loved talking to people about the oils because I loved using them. And just had like a little downline. I remember getting my first check from Young Living for like $11. And it was like super cool. I was like, yay, $11. That's like a burrito at Chipotle. And so, I think it was, that was 8 years ago. That was when I started using the oils. Teresa's sharing on the business. I was like dabbling in the business. And then about 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago now, you and I got engaged.
Married.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got married 4.5 years ago. So it was like a little bit, we had a pretty short engagement. We were only engaged for 3 months. So it was right after we got engaged, we were kind of talking about, okay, like, what are we going to do? Where do we want to live? Because he did a real estate business that, he's going to share more with you about in Costa Rica. So we had the opportunity to go down there and build homes and do real estate stuff in Costa Rica, which sounded cool. But I come from my family being international as well. My dad worked overseas, and I knew what international living was like, and just really had a desire, even after having done some international living myself, just to be in the States. Like, I really wanted to be in the States, especially our first year of marriage. And I was doing wedding videography at the time. I loved it. It was super fun. I started doing it because I was like, one day, when I get married and we have kids, like, I want to contribute to the family finances, and what better way to do that than do a wedding videography business? Like, that's so great because you can, have an in-home office and the whole thing. Well, about 4 years into that, I realized, oh my gosh, like, this is all consuming. Like, you don't just like, you have to, it's a lot of work. You go out and you're working hard on the weekends, and then you come in and you're editing and you're doing a ton of stuff. It was just a lot of work, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it, but realized it wasn't sustainable for when we want to have a family one day. And so we were just kind of brainstorming, like, what do we do? Costa Rica, Megan Michelle Films, and then I had this like little Young Living check coming in, and we were like, or we could like go after this Young Living thing. So Chris and I, we are Christians, and we prayed about it. We were like, okay, like, what do we want to do? What do we feel God's putting peace on, and what's in our hearts? And we really settled on, we want to be in the States, but we want to build residual income. And with wedding videography, it's not residual income. You have to film, you have to show up to the wedding and film it and edit it and give your clients a product in order to get paid, which is absolutely reasonable. But whenever projecting into the future, whenever you're not able to do that, then you don't get paid. And so we were kind of thinking long term, like longevity wise, like what is in our hearts to do, what is in our hearts for family finances. And he was kind of, after about six full-time years in Costa Rica, was in the mood to be back in the States as well.
Yeah, wanted to be around, like, you mentioned it too, but be around family and be just back here and build a life here, and we might go somewhere else later on, but for now we feel really called to be around family.
If you follow us on Instagram, we like to travel.
So we right when we got married, we're deciding what do we want to invest into, what kind of life do we want to live, and it was a great time to do that because we were just getting married and starting a new life together. And as we were looking into the Young Living business, like she said, at first it's just kind of like, oh, that's too good to be true. But you look into it and you realize, hey, if you look at this like a business, and that's exactly what it is, and there are people that are treating it like a business and getting paid very, very well for it. And you can look, as a disclosure, you can go to youngliving.com/IDS, which is their income disclosure statement. And they are legally have to put these out every 2 years, just to say what percentage of people are making money in the company, what type of money that they're making. And so we are now at gold, and so the average gold makes $5,666, and so we were happy to say we were above average on that. And then our good friend Teresa is diamond now.
She's diamond. Okay, guys, remember, she's the woman that was executive coming up teaching classes for me and sharing and making about $700 a month 8 years ago. She's like, okay, like, I'm going for this. I'm in it for the long haul. If you don't quit, you win. And I'm just going to keep sharing the oils and keep sharing on the business. So it was 8 years ago, and today she's diamond, and the average diamond makes
almost $36,000 a month.
And she also is above average on that.
She said she's way above average.
She said she is way above average on that. Yeah. So she's now in her 60s. She started this business in her 50s. Who starts a business in their 50s and then in their 60s gets to retire from it because their monthly income is over $40,000 a month. Yeah, that's a business to pay attention. That's a business to pay attention to and to take seriously. And so that's what we decided to do. 4 years ago, we decided, like, we're going to take this seriously. We're going to go after this Young Living business. And as many opportunities as we have to get in front of people, share the oils and share the business, we will take that opportunity. And fast forward today, and we have we have residual income of the average gold is about $6,000 a month. And so we have that income coming in, which is so amazing. Yeah. It's so amazing. I just can't even believe it sometimes when I'm sharing it. I'm like, this is so awesome. And
a few things that are really awesome about what we love about this business, and what we realize is, like, man, if you treat this like a business, then you can get paid like a business. But the difference with this type of business compared to other businesses and things that we dealt with our real estate development company or with her wedding videography, it's you have a lot of responsibilities. Like, first, for real estate development, I had a massive investment startup. I mean, had to get investors, buying huge pieces of property, paying hundreds of thousands for heavy equipment development and water systems and bringing in electric and all of these things. And then, so you have a huge investment, and then the more you make a sale on a property and you get that back, but then you have to pay back investments and things like that. But then if you want to build residual, you do it more through like home rentals or condos, and which is great. But the thing with that is, like, the more homes I had, the more condos we had, the more responsibility. And then I had 30 employees and a project manager and all these different people for booking and cleaning. And guess what? If one of those people don't show up, where does the responsibility fall? Right on me. So it's like, it was a lot of responsibility, a lot of stress, and it was actually there's no end in sight. It's like, the more you built, the more responsibility you had, the more things you had to take care of, the more things you had to worry about. And so as we started getting into this business model, I was so impressed with it, because that you have very little startup costs. Like, you can get a starter kit for $45, or you can get the oils kit for $165. You're like, that is way better than hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is the normal startup for quite a few franchises and a lot of businesses. And so you have a very small investment, but then you have the opportunity to share that. You suddenly have this home-based franchise you can share with anybody you want, and there's no cap, there's no limit to how much you can make, there's no limit to how much you can share, how fast you can grow, or how much you can build. It's just all based off of having a vision and then putting in the effort. And so, and then looking forward, fast forwarding to now, or even the more we build in 10 years from now, when we have a Royal Crown Diamond downline with, tens of thousands of people in it, guess what? There's not this huge responsibility. Like, you can actually step back, and we actually experienced that last year. Yeah. Megan had some health issues, and we really had to take the year off. We took the year off. It was a rough year, and so we kept up with our business here and there, but we weren't working it like we usually do. And guess what? Like, we weren't working, but we still had that income coming in. And it increased. And it actually increased while we were taking a break, because we have a team of people that are working with us. And so this is such an amazing thing that you're not just building like a one-time sale, or you're not just getting a one-time check, but you're building residual income. And things like time freedom and residual income, they're kind of, people love them. They're hot words right now, like looking for that. But to really be able to make that happen is amazing. And so something that I think is so cool is that with our business, we have, if I was to make the same income we're making now in real estate, I would have to have a couple $1 million worth of homes or apartments or something like that to have the income that we're having in. Well, we've built it's called an asset value around $2 million in our business, and to build that up in 4 years is incredible. Like, in our late 20s and early 30s. Like, if without this business, like, it would be so hard. It would be very challenging to build up a couple $1 million of cash to be able to buy some properties to then have that investment coming back into our lives. Like, I mean, it's doable, I guess, but it'd be really dang hard, you know? Like, if I'm racking my brain, I don't know how to do it exactly.
Without a trust fund.
Yeah. Oh, no trust funds.
No, we don't have a trust fund.
And so, so the opportunity that gives, and that's why you have people, like some of the top investors and business people, guys that are saying, hey, yeah, network marketing is a great way to build wealth. It's a great way to go because of that, because it's such a small investment and there's so much opportunity. And that's why you have so many rags to riches stories of 50 ladies in their 50s that have never had a job and are homeschoolers and now they're making, you know, $500,000 a year. It's like because the opportunity's there, and it's not the skill, but it's the effort that you put in, and the I mean, really just like sticking it out. So it's a great business, and that's why we've loved it so much. And where do you want to go from here?
Okay, so how do you do it?
Yeah.
And Anna, I'm wearing Serene by Savvy.
This is all natural. Thank you for asking.
So is this, but I put it on. El natural.
Oh yeah,
makeup
it is natural. Thank you, Young Living.
So how do you build a Young Living business is probably one of the questions that is going through your mind, because that was the question, is like, well, how? The way that you build this business is you go and you share about the oils and the business opportunity. Get a kit in someone's hand and show them the power of switching out chemical-laden products in their home for plant-based products. And share the business opportunity. The more people that you can get in front of and share why you love this product, like as simple as I love lavender because during the spring it really supports my respiratory system, and then into I'm going after this business because I want financial freedom, I want time freedom, and you just do that over and over again. It is not complicated, and in fact the more complicated you make it, we found the more like professional that we come, like we got our PowerPoint and everything all clean, the less fast we grow. So the more simple it is, the more duplicatable it is, the more that other people see, like, I can do what they're doing. I can share my story. I can share the reason why I'm doing this. And if you don't have a story, share your upline story. You guys already heard me share Teresa's story. She's my diamond upline. I've been sharing her story since out the gate, since we started this business making no money to like now. And so share stories, share other people's stories, and that's how you do it.
Something really cool to think about and understand, even with this business and timing, is that that right now, like, this is a industry is growing so fast and so big, and so the opportunity is there. Like Young Living hit, they were ranked as the #1 network marketing company with the most momentum. So they're the fastest growing, deal. Most momentum. That's amazing.
It's a huge deal.
And then they just grew 27% in the last year, which is
if you know crazy. Business, that's like nuts.
That's massive. And so they're going to be tens of millions of people coming into Young Living. They are such an amazing company. Like,
they're positioning themselves for the growth, so they'll handle it well.
Yeah.
And they have handled it well.
One thing that they've invested into, which is really setting them apart from a lot of other companies, is the whole supply chain. Like, they're not just buying stuff from other people and selling, for like the oils, for example. Like, they're not just buying it from other people and selling it. They have invested so much into their own farms, the highest quality farms, like beyond organic, working with the best people, having the best distillation plants. They have the most expensive essential oils testing facility in the world. It's
so
massive. Like, and then their standards are just off the hook. Like the people they're working with, what they're paying them, all these different things. Like, it's just a great company. And then even other things that are important. And I love the culture of Young Living is that they're not just about making money for a company, but they started their foundation. They're pouring millions into this foundation, and then beyond that, the whole foundation, all the people that work for it, everything they do, all of the overhead is covered by the Young Living business. So every donation that goes into that foundation is straight to the causes, which a lot of foundations and organizations, they have people that are working for them. So donations that they take, they have to pay people, and so a lot of times there's not that much of a percentage that goes into the actual cause. And so,
can I touch on the timing a little bit?
Yeah,
too?
Go for it.
So it is just such a great time to grow this business. Like Chris said, it's like the fastest growing network marketing company that there is right now.
Yeah.
They're positioning themselves for the growth. So they anticipate, and when Young Living anticipates and knows growth is coming, more growth is coming, it's coming. And so I want to take advantage of that. All natural organic products, the industry is on a crazy rise. It is growing so fast. CBD oil is projected to be a multi-billion-dollar growing company over the next 5 years, and Young Living just acquired CBD. Not to mention the organic makeup. There's so many different niches even within the company, which is super, super fun. And I always like this analogy. I think it also helps people of just like realizing how much of an opportunity there is. Like if you think of all the people that are in Young Living, there's about 6 million users. That's not even people that are doing the business. 6 million users of the Young Living products worldwide. So I always like to double it. So let's double it and say there's 12 million people. So in the state of California alone, there are 39 million people. That means there is a ton of room for growth. The average Royal Crown Diamond has a team of about 10,000 people. And obviously they didn't build that on their own. They had business builders, and they were duplicatable. That's why they grew so big. And so there is so much room and space and so much opportunity for growth right now. If you just pursue this business and share with a few people, you are quickly in the top 5% of the company, because 93% of the people who are Young Living product users are product users, which is a great litmus test for a really good company, because people love the product. So there's a loyalty to that whenever you fall in love with a product that works really well, that you love. And so we want to be the business leaders in this, taking advantage of this incredible time of growth in our industry, and we're just super excited about it. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and start posting them now, because we'd love to answer questions. Most momentum. You can read some of that. Yeah.
So you can read that.
Yeah.
I'll touch on. So, so a few things as far as building this business, and one thing is recognizing that this is a fastly growing industry, and this is a fantastic business model. Any business model can be done poorly and can be done wonderfully. Even like normal typical businesses can be done horribly, and there's ones that can be done well. And so the same thing with network marketing, and this is a company that has done fantastic. And so one thing really important as you guys are sharing Young Living and wanting to grow your business is that where you plant your seeds is where you're going to see growth. And so for a long time, when we were sharing pretty much just like sharing, get the starter kit, like get your oils in hand, and that was our main focus. Like our class was mostly about that. And so we saw a lot of people buying starter kits, but we didn't see people ordering after that. We didn't see people getting into the business. And so then we started sharing more on what it looks like to really transition your your things in your home, the products that you use, transition those from harsh chemical products, and then getting stuff from Young Living, like getting stuff you can trust, getting stuff that's good for your family. And so then we started having more people that are on Essential Rewards, which is like the monthly ordering program, and really getting stuff that's good for their family instead of buying it from places that are just laden with harsh chemicals. And and so then we start building more momentum with people purchasing. But then we took the next step of actually opening up and training and sharing the business with people, and that is the power. That is the nuts and bolts of network marketing, is that wildfire rapid duplication. Because the way one of the reasons that that network marketing is such a powerful business model is because in marketing you have things like you have to market. So you have billboards, and you have commercials, and you have radio station ads, and you have all these different things. But do you want to know the number one way to market? And that is word of mouth. Like word of mouth is the best way for marketing. They found it to be the most successful. Like if you someone starts up a restaurant and you can get someone else to give you a word of mouth recommendation, then that recommendation goes way further than if they saw an ad on TV or in the newspaper or something like that. And so if you set it up where you can share the products, and then you can do it in a way where it can duplicate word of mouth, like the wildfire duplication, then that is when you get a business that is just booming. And so finding other people that want to share as well, and then as that duplicates, that is where you get this massive growth with this company.
We have some really great questions coming in.
Get some questions.
Justine said, I see you on Facebook now, but is it how you started? How did you get so many people on board? That is a really great question. No, we have not. No, definitely not. We did not grow on Facebook and social media.
Yeah.
The way that we got started, it really is just as simple as asking a few friends to come over to my house, or go over to their house, or go to a coffee shop, and tell them about the oils and tell them about the business. And it was just that, like, just small groups, like groups of 1 and 3 and 5, and sharing the oils and sharing the business, and asking and making sure I'm sharing the business, because then each person at that class has a network of people. And so some of those people would want to learn more about the oils, so I would just go and teach classes for them, or they were interested in the business, so then I would just help them do the same thing I was doing, which was have a class or a coffee shop date of 1, 3, or 5 people, or whatever, like however, I mean, if I could get like 20 people, we had a few big classes of 20 people too, which is always fun and exciting, but usually they're rather small classes, and that's how we did it. It's literally just as simple as it sounds. And at first, I think what's so hard about this business and why Young Living can offer so much money on the line is, at first it does feel hard. It's like, am I really growing? Like, I'm not making any money. I'm doing these little classes. Is this working? Am I doing it right? Like, those are all the questions that go through your head.
And keep going through your head.
And keep going through your head, even at gold. Because we still hit spots where we're just like, how do we grow? Like, how do we meet more people? And because you tap out of groups of people, all of a sudden you're like, I don't think we know anybody else to share the oils or share the products with. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and another thing too is that, like, we have months where within our team we have a few hundred signups, which is
now
amazing. But still, like, even today, still, I don't know, this last month we probably signed up 2 people personally. So it's not what we're doing. Like, we are consistently sharing with people and finding leaders, and now we're at a point in our business where we're working more like with other leaders and helping other people build their teams. But we're just sharing
by doing stuff like this.
But the reason we have so many signups is because you have other leaders and have other teams beneath you, and so if you have you can share and get one person signed up for the rest of every month for the rest of your life, and that's a few people. But if you have 10 people sharing, and then those 10 people have 10 people, it's 100 people sharing. Like, that duplicates really fast, and so that's the real power of this business. But for us, it starts with, even now, it starts with just reaching out to one person and sharing and caring, and
it's on rinse and repeat. It's like there's nothing there's nothing glamorous from wherever you are in your Young Living business journey to where we are now. It literally is the same thing over and over again. It just is. And when we try to complicate it is when we stunt our growth. When we're just like, oh, we need to be all fancy and businessy and cool. Like, it doesn't work.
Totally. Yeah, the difference between it's the same thing, signing up one person at a time. But then when you get the more duplication, that's when you really see.
Which is why we always share, and we always share that. Like, and, anybody who shares, like, whenever we teach on the oils, if anybody who's there and they love the oils and they love the products, we're like, if you share with your mom, and she buys a premium starter kit, you'll get a $50 check in the mail, which could cover your next Essential Rewards order. So it's like just as simple as that kind of sharing. It's like Young Living does make it easy because they have so many cool incentives that are really great.
Yeah. Next one. Do you have tips on growing, sharing the business without being annoying?
Yeah, that's a great question. Everybody Everybody here, I'm sure, knows somebody who shared a network marketing opportunity with them, and you're just like, and no thank you. Chris and I have really purposed in our hearts from the beginning that us pursuing network marketing would never ruin any relationships, and that we would always be authentic in what we shared. And so I think whenever you believe in the products and you believe in the business, you're not annoying. And if you just kind of can gauge where people are at, like where they're at, if they like really want to learn more, then you're there and available. And so we always make ourselves known to be available to teach and to share on the products and the business. But we never, if somebody like is kind of like, meh, we don't push that too hard. But we always do make it well known that we this is what we do, and this is what we love, and we're not embarrassed by it. I think at the beginning it did feel a little bit like, because I was transitioning from Mega Michelle Films, wedding videographer, and I felt really like, hey, I'm a wedding videographer. Like, what do you do for a living? I have my own business. I'm a wedding videographer. And there wasn't many women in my industry, so I was just like, yeah, I'm cool. So switching to Young Living, like way before we were full time into this, I decided this is what I want to do. So I switched from whenever people would ask, like, you know, the common, hi, what's your name? What do you do for a living? I switched, and I didn't say Mega Michelle Films anymore, even though I was doing that full time. I switched to, my name's Megan Deming, and I do network marketing for a company called Young Living. Just really straightforward about it. And yeah, so that's how we would share. Just being confident and, you know, believing in what you're going after and what's in your heart.
Yeah, a few things on that too. I think some really great tips for not being annoying is, most of the time I think the most annoying people are ones that want something from you, like they and
that's really good.
So for me, you know, if I'm coming to somebody and saying, you need to buy this, you need to get this, you need to do this, like, I need your money, and like, and switching that to some really great things is like finding out how to care for people, like what they need, and a great way is asking questions. So I've really I transitioned a lot from instead of like telling everybody, here's how the business and here's how you do this and here's all the products, and just trying to flood people with as much information so that they would buy it, I would stop and say, like I do network marketing for a company called Young Living, sell essential oils and non-toxic products. Have you ever heard of essential oils before? Yeah, I've heard of them before. I've never used them. Blah blah blah. Why is that? What are your thoughts on that? And I'm always curious to ask. And they're like, oh well, I don't know. I just don't think they'll work, or I think they're voodoo, snake oil, whatever. And it's like, and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, I used to think that too. Actually, like I didn't think there was any value in it, but I don't. Yeah, then I tell my story. Like, yeah, I was
always bringing people value.
And so, just asking questions so you know where people are at. And then sharing stories in your testimonies is just a great way to be authentic and sincere, and just be like, if this helps you, great.
So Scott is saying something we are just beginning to understand is building a foundation, structuring the downline. Hope you will touch on some of that. So I can totally touch on some of that. Scott, we have done it all wrong. Like literally from the very beginning, I've done all the ways of building your business, from like building super wide to building super deep. And what we have found over the years of, like, even the last 4 years of building this, that the best way to structure your downline, and this might be more like in-depth stuff that we'll go into more, but is you only need 7 people directly under you to get to Royal Crown Diamond. So find those 7 people and then start throwing people under them. But we can do a more like in detail video of like compensation plan building stuff. And so if you guys have requests for those, we can totally go into that. Yeah. So, and even sit down with you guys one-on-one.
Where should someone just getting interested in the business start to get training? Great question. And we have a few things. The number one place we recommend is getting plugged into our joyfulvida.com website. So if you are a member of Young Living with us, with our team, which is our team name is Joyful Vida. Yeah. Summer, who asked that question, designed this wonderful shirt. She's amazing. So if you are a member in our Joyful Vida team, you have complete access to our website, and that has training on products, oils, supplements, and then it has a whole training on the business, and it goes through why would you want to do this business, how to overcome excuses, is this a
structuring your downline,
structuring your downline, how the comp plan works, how you get paid, all these different things. And so that is a great way to get in there and just go through and understand this business, because that's an awesome thing. Like this is a business, and so what's one thing that's really important is like you need to understand and fall in love with the company, and you need to know how to be a professional in this industry. It's not if we want to be professionals and be well paid, then we have to understand and know how to do it. And it's not complicated. It can be challenging, but it's not complicated. And so that, and then also
go to joyfulvida.com, and then the password to get into that is
everyone might not be our this is an
cool.
open group, so so if you're a member, then just ask us and we'll give you the password.
Thank
you. And then some other great things is some resources and books. The game plan, this is by Sarah Harnish, and she has some great info. She has a workbook and a little book and a big book, and so this is a great one that just gives you the nuts and bolts of this business. We really like the stuff from Richard and Kimmy Brooke. So Richard Blissbrook and Kimmy Brooke, and this one's called The 4-Year Career. And then Richard Blissbrook also has a great podcast called something, The Hero Podcast. And then so those are a couple resources that are really great to get started.
Yeah, game plan is really good. I really like that. And then Justine said, she wants to know, how did we get people to the group? So when we got started, there wasn't, now there's actually a lot of different groups that you can be a part of. How did we draw people to our group? Same thing of just sharing the oils and sharing, hey, we have a Facebook group that has support. And so just adding people, and then business builders in our team also are adding their people too. And so just using, because it's a nice resource, because when you have a group of people that are all contributing, then it's not all one person doing work.
So then, Anna, is there a place to start researching what being a distributor, if that's the right term, looks like responsibilities, etc.? I would say we kind of answered that, but the website, joyfulvida.com, and then these books, and
when it comes to responsibilities of being a distributor, obligations are you buy your starter kit just like everybody to get the discount, and then you purchase $100 a month on Essential Rewards, and that's all your obligations from Young Living. There's no $5,000 overhead for a bunch of product. Our
garage is not full of things that we have to sell each month.
No, all of the oils in our home and all of our Young Living products are for us. They're not something that we sell to other people. And so we always direct people to the Young Living website. So I hope that kind of answers that question. But if you just go to youngliving.com and you look in their member resources, there's a lot of great information about policies and procedures of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And Scott and Gloria had mentioned a little bit about no-show classes. We have had plenty of those, and there's even seasons now. You'd think we have so many people coming to our classes, but sometimes we offer a class and just no one's interested at the time or whatever. But it's you keep doing them. You keep going through those seasons, and so we just moved to a new area, and so that's that means there's tons of fresh new people, but it also means we don't have a big team established, and so so I love.
And I think Gloria did that well.
Yeah, Gloria just said, she's keep doing classes every week, and if no one comes, then practice your presentation, get comfortable with it. That's a great way. It's you want to get really comfortable with it and be really authentic and sincere. And so, and then...
Someone you know knows nothing about the business. Do you still think someone could start and be successful? Knows nothing about business. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Because, Teresa Jingles, for example, our Diamond Upline, she hadn't had a business since I don't know if she ever had worked in any business, and she always shares how if she had to get a job at that point, because she had just been a stay-at-home mom since she left her parents' house, moved into her husband's home, raised babies, and then she was if I had to get a job in my 50s, I would be working at Walmart. Young Living gave her the opportunity. So she knew nothing about business. Her husband was a mailman who got to retire early because his wife dove into Young Living. And so absolutely. Sometimes the less you know about business, the better, because then you're not all in your head about it.
Maybe the couple things that are good to know is that it's okay if people say no, but you can keep asking. Like there's some I guess like some sales things like that, but you don't need a ton of business training. And actually our Teresa, our diamond, she has this great analogy of just getting out there and asking people. And like if people say no, that's okay. You can ask them later. Like she has an analogy of like when people come over to your home, say it's 11 o'clock and you're chatting for about an hour, and then it's around lunchtime, you're going to ask them, hey, are you hungry? Do you want me to make you a sandwich or something? You're like, no, I'm not hungry. That's fine. But what you did is you asked, and that's a great thing. Like you need to ask people, like, hey, are you interested in this? Would you like to know more about it? Would you like to come to a class? And then if they say no, that's fine. But then if they stay at your house past lunch and they're there till 2 or 3 o'clock, you're going to ask again because it's just kind. Like, hey, are you sure you don't want to make you a sandwich? I can make you one real quick. Yeah, actually, I'm really hungry now. That sounds great. And so people have different timing, and so that, to answer your question about business stuff, like that's probably the more important thing than having a ton of business experience. It's just being dedicated, being able to allow people to have their space and say no if they don't need it, but then also just being confident and passionate about this. And those are the most important things.
I like this question from Summer. Any tips or tricks on identifying new leaders?
Yeah.
I would say no. Sometimes you think that somebody is going to just blow it up and be super dedicated to the business, and then they're not. And some people will surprise you, and you wouldn't think that they would ever build the Young Living business, and they're your like biggest, most successful people. And so I think of myself as a really discerning person. At the beginning of this, I was like, oh, that person, they're going to be awesome, that person. And almost without fail, I would get it wrong. And so I think that's what even Chris was just sharing of like, keep offering people the sandwich. Like you just never know who has a financial need, who has a health need, and when that need is going to come up. And so just like giving people the opportunity to make the decision for themselves and not assuming that someone is or isn't going to be interested in the business.
Yeah.
And then next question.
What are your favorite ways to learn more about oils? Asking questions on our Facebook group.
Yes.
It's a great one. There's Lindsay Elmore. She has a great book that's on that shelf behind us. I forget what it's called, but you can look it up. She has a great book on that. And then there's also some books called The Essential Oil Desk Reference by Life Science Publishing. Those are fantastic. That's a great book.
This is by Lindsay Elmore, 50 Answers to Common Questions About Essential Oils. Great book.
And then the Essential Oils Desk Reference has every oil, every blend, every use. That's a great one for just browsing through that. It's like the Essential Oil Bible. So that's a great one.
Great question from Justine. She's excited about it, and she said, did you base the starting classes off your opinion on oils? Is there a booklet that talks a little bit more about the logical side?
Logistics side.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to read.
Logistically.
Do you want to answer that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So in our website, we have tons of resources with we have like a Word document of a script for a class. Like if you're going to sit down and share, there's like literally you have everything you need. Like we have.
You can just read the script.
The website is there because it's like everything that we use to build our business is there for you. That's the duplication. Like the easier it is for you guys to do it, the more leaders we have that can do it, the better. And so I love this business model because it's not about like what we can get for ourselves and that makes our business successful. It's like the more we can train and empower other people and help them get their dreams, the better our business does. And so so we literally have everything for a script, for classes, resources to books, like places to learn more things.
And also, I think just to simplify that, like you go to the website and basically like our back office of everything we use is in that website at joyfulvita.com, but also just like share your story, like sharing your story of why people connect with story. And so sharing your story about how you love and use oils and why you're pursuing the business, just sharing your true story and the reason why, people really connect with that. And so it really is just as simple as sharing your story. And everyone's story is different, which is so great because then everybody can relate to your story in a different way, then maybe they could relate with ours.
And then there's a few other questions. There's people saying yes to more classes on business, the business building and that kind of stuff.
Okay, good. And every Tuesday on the Joyful Vida Business Builders, I'm doing 5 minutes of compensation plan stuff. So I'll compile all of the suggestions that you guys have in there, and we'll just keep doing lots of training on compensation plan stuff because you can't get enough of it.
Yeah, we can do
I can't get enough of it.
Another full-length one, too, on comp plan.
Yeah, let's do another full-length one on comp plan.
So we'll set
Since
that
people
up.
are,
And then Mandy said, what is Essential Rewards?
Great
That's
question.
a great question. We, Essential Rewards, so with Young Living, there's 2 ways to order. You can do, once you're a wholesale member and you get 24% off, you can do a quick order, which is just like you order something one time and get it. And then they have Essential Rewards, which is their monthly wellness box. Like, so it's just, you at least get at least $50 a month. So as long as you're ordering at least 50 PV, which usually equates to $50 a month, then you get cheaper shipping, you get different promos, kits, and then you get, the best thing is you get points back. So for the first 3 months, you get 10% back on everything you order. For 4 months to 24 months, you get 20% back, and then after that, you get 25% back. And so it's like you get 24% off all the products because you're a wholesale member, and then you get another 25% back after a few years of ordering an Essential Reward. It's like almost 50% off of retail. And so
I wish Costco did that for all the food we buy. If they gave me 20% back of like Costco bucks that I could go in and spend again.
Yeah, so we just had almost $300 worth of points that was just sitting there, and so we can spend it on whatever we want. And so the amazing thing with that is it really helps people get consistently having stuff straight to their door. It's amazing products, getting the bad stuff out of their home and getting good stuff in, helps people with lifestyle change and health and all that. And then for our businesses, it helps build consistency within our business. And so it's
free stuff. Melissa, that's basically what Essential Rewards is you buy $50 of product from Young Living and you get a ton of free stuff.
Yeah. So it's like
it's the best way to order.
Their monthly wellness box that is just fantastic for the people. It's an amazing program for people buying, and then for the business, instead of someone buying $500 one month and nothing the next month, it builds more consistency in your business, and so you have more consistent checks. And
Cindy says info on taxes, so keep throwing all those out there, because I will take that and we'll do a whole video on how to do taxes as a Young Living business builder. That is a really good question.
Yeah, and there's a great book on that as well.
Yeah. ER for Life.
We will post in the comments afterwards.
Yeah. I love this question. What does work life look like for you guys? Building your website, do you schedule a specific time every day to work? Especially curious since you say you don't do much stuff on social media. I think a lot of the stuff we do is on our Facebook groups. And then we try to go out and network and connect with people. Some days legitimately we'll be like, what should we do today? And we have a list of prompting things, like following up with people, like anybody who's been interested. Sometimes I'll be like, there's nobody to follow up with, and then I'll just actually sit down and think, oh my gosh, I have so many people that I need to connect with. So that's pretty much what we do. Lots of texting, lots of Facebook messaging, lots of trying to get out of our house and connect with other people and meet new people. And would you add to that at all?
Yeah, I mean, we have whole lists of things of 30 great things to do.
I love that
throughout
list.
The week, and so that's really handy.
I use that every day.
Of just one is taking care of the people that you already have. So because it's new for people, and so they're new to oils, they're new to health stuff, they're new to different things. So it's our job. What we're getting paid for is to help educate people and walk them through finding stuff that's really helpful for their lives, and then connecting with our leaders and helping them with things like setting up classes and. But mostly, what we do is set up events, promote those events, and connect with new people. And
she asked, do you schedule a specific time every day to work? I would say yes. We try, we'll wake up and have breakfast, and I usually like to work out. And then after that, we'll go into, we try to, batch time things, do our emails and then our text messages, or, most important thing first. And then, work until, 3 or so, and then after that, free to go about other things that we need to do, or just go do life stuff, go spend time with family and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we definitely try to block out time to work. That is one of the things about this business that is different, is learning how to do your own schedule, and what works for you, and that can look different for everybody. But we found for us, like, we block out, like a good chunk of hours every day just to kind of work on stuff. It didn't start that way though, and that's the great thing about this business. Both of us had full-time things going on before we dove into Young Living. So whenever we had a full-time business, it was just, while at work or while working on other things, or at the end of work, texting people, connecting with people, asking people at wedding networking events if they were interested in the oils, so it looks different now for us because we do it full time than before, and I think you don't need to recreate the wheel too. Creating your own website and that kind of stuff we did back in the day, because 5 years ago or whatever, there wasn't all these resources that there are now. But if you're in our team, you have all of our resources, so you can just run with it and use that and contribute to it. If you're not in our team, there's so many areas where you can buy different programs. Grow Workspace is one of them that is really good, and so those are great resources for you to
with that too. I think making sure that you're communicating, and the more effectively you're communicating, the better. And so we do Instagram, we do Facebook, we post on there, we share info.
Now we do
those
more.
kind of things. We do that more,
didn't grow
but
that way, though.
that's that will catch people's attention. But if I have a one-on-one conversation with somebody, or I sit down and have coffee, or if I go and teach a class to 5 or 10 people, I'll tell you what, we've had way more success with that. So if I'm putting effort into doing those things, so it's it's everything, but it's really just how can I communicate the most effectively with people, and then help really them know what we're doing and be a part of it.
That's really good. And then Scott said, can you post a sample list of things to do? We have a list that I
think it's out there. Yeah, but yes, I will post that.
I'll post it.
Yeah.
Because it's literally, especially on the days when we're just like, what do we do? We literally pick up the list and we go through it from the top to bottom. Step 1. It's 30 things to do with Young Living. And that's how you can run your business. It's just that simple, which is cool.
And then Cindy asked, how do you find all the promos for international members in your downline? I think the best way for that is they do have different Facebook groups for different countries. And so that is a great way to find the different, we have members in Japan and Europe and Australia, and so we've connected them with the local Facebook group, and then that's a great way to kind of hear about the promos that are coming out.
And Cindy also mentioned, I love that she mentioned this, you can also get a text message from Chris and Megan with a list of IPAs each week, which is true. We send out and we even text it to ourselves. So every single week we do an IPA checklist. An IPA is an income producing activity, and every single week we get a automated text that's like, hey, it's the first week of the month. These are the things you're supposed to be focusing on. If you're not on that list and you want those weekly reminder texts of IPAs, private message us and we will make sure that you're on that list so that you can get those reminders.
Oh yeah, we will put in the comments below the number and you can text a keyword to our Project Broadcast, which is
phone number,
our text messaging thing, and you'll get those.
Yeah, we'll get you on the list.
Yeah,
awesome. All right,
great.
Good class.
Yeah, any other questions? Fun. It was so much fun hanging out with you guys.
So fun. And, all right. Our giveaway. We'll post who wins the giveaway below. So if you are live on here and you have not posted where you're tuning in from yet, make sure to post where you're tuning in from, and you are going to be entered to win a free roller ball of Grow Essential Oil by Young Living. It smells so good. It's one of our favorite smelling essential oils that we work to, diffuse to.
Yeah, so then and other things too for our Joyful Vida community. On our Facebook community page, we have monthly webinars every single month. Mm-hmm. We'll be having more of these, like business and trainings and those kind of things.
Every month?
Then
every week.
Conventions next month. We are to go to Salt Lake City, Utah, and see the farms and the new headquarters.
Oh my gosh. Get poured into in business training, and it's such a fun time.
Yeah.
And we're going to Gold Party. We got invited to the Gold Party because we hit the next ranking in Young Living. We're so excited about it.
So thank you everyone for being on here and for the great questions and connection, and we love this. So, all right.
So much love and blessings on your business wherever you are, and thanks for hanging out with us.
See you guys.